is looking for revenge against Patrick Mahomes. Here are the lessons learned from Hurts after losing the first one to the...
I've learned so much. You know, it's the same as any other game. And, you know, I think the moments are the moments, but ultimately, you know, every game has its lessons, good, bad, or indifferent. It's had a great driving force. It lit a flame, lit a fire in me. And to have this opportunity again, it's exactly what you work for.
All right, Jalen Hurts has been one of the most successful quarterbacks in the NFL since coming into the league in 2020. His 51 wins rank 4th over that span, and he's the only quarterback other than Patrick Mahomes to reach the Super Bowl more than once. All right, Stephen A., I'll start with you on this. What must Hurts do to be in the conversation with guys like Burrow and Lamar and Allen?
Win the Super Bowl. Because if you win the Super Bowl, it's unavoidable. See, right now, when you look at Jalen Hurts has played damn good football. We know this. We know what he's capable of, Dan Orlovsky. I'm not here to question that. He's a leader. He's a tremendous athlete. He's proven to be a winner. We get that part. But you don't talk about him in the same light as the Lamar Jacksons, the Josh Allens of the world, and others because, you know, he has yet to have it on his shoulders and get it done, per se. You have Saquon Barkley. You have an elite defense. You know, people look at those things and they say, okay, you know, sometimes they've talked about him as if he's a game manager. We all know he's more than that. And I'm certainly not going to sit up there and cast aspersions on him in that regard. But since week 5, the Philadelphia Eagles have ran the football more than anybody in the National Football League. And they've thrown the football less than anybody in the National Football League, dead last in pass attempts. Why? Because that's saying we're not putting the ball in the hands of our quarterback or the game in the hands of our quarterback. We're putting it in the hands of our running back. That's the perception. And so for me, you ignore all of that when you walk away with a Super Bowl championship. When you don't walk away with a Super Bowl championship, you ask why. Why did that not happen? And so, and ultimately, it'll come back to people at least asking that question about Jalen Hurts, which is why I say you put all of that to bed by winning a Super Bowl championship. Because if you win a Super Bowl championship, that's something that Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen do not have not done. It's that simple to me.
I don't think there's anything that Jalen can do to be in the conversation with those three guys as players. I agree with your point that the Super Bowl it elevates the perception of him. But talent-wise, I don't think Jalen's ever going to be into that group. But if he wins a Super Bowl, then those three guys, we're going to have the conversations of when are they and if they will ever jump into there. But Stephen A., if I asked you to rank those 4 guys right now, like you get to draft those 4 guys right now, you're not taking Jalen Hurts over any of them. Correct?
No, you're not. No, you're not.
So
no, you're
I
not.
just
But
don't.
Conversation. From a conversation perspective, I'm simply saying the conversation changes. I understand if you're analyzing and dissecting their games the way that Dan Orlovsky does. Certainly, he's a distant 4th compared to the other 3 in terms of who you would want. I'm just simply saying the conversations about him change. All of a sudden, when we're talking about all of these guys, we're going to have to talk about this champion. If this man goes out there and balls and the Philadelphia Eagles win the Super Bowl championship and he's beating Patrick Mahomes to do it, well, guess what? Josh Allen hasn't beaten Patrick Mahomes. Lamar Jackson has only beaten him once in like 5 tries. We're going to look at that and we're going to say, hey, Jalen Hurts, Jalen Hurts, Jalen Hurts. We're not going to ignore him.
And that's why a little bit of the context of the conversation would matter, right? Like if they go win the Super Bowl and they win it 17-13, again, that's not going to elevate Jalen Hurts into this, oh my gosh, you knocked off the 3-peat. Now if they go and win and it's 40-37 and he has the same Super Bowl performance that he had in 2022, then there's a little bit more nuance into the conversation. I just don't think that Jalen, as far as like the individual talent is going to get on that level playing field with a guy that's got 2 MVPs in Lamar and he might win his 3rd this year with a player like Josh Allen who has done things that are historic in the NFL, and the same with Joe Burrow. The other flip side is, and this matters, is, well, then we are going to start having the conversation even deeper and more intensely of, well, why Josh Allen can't you get it done like Jalen Hurts has? Why Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson, why can't you get it done like Jalen Hurts has? But that's the team. They've got one of the, if not the best defenses in the NFL. They've got their best rush game in the NFL. They got a historic tailback season with Saquon Barkley. So you're not comparing apples to apples when it's being asked, like, what is the quarterback being asked to do? Stephen A., that stat that you just laid out is a huge part. The fact that they have the least pass attempts in the NFL and they're in the Super Bowl.
Right.
That is a huge part of that conversation.
But again, like you just said, what if Jalen Hurts goes out there and Patrick Mahomes drops 37 to 38, but Jalen drops 40 to 41? And it's not Saquon Barkley rushing for 200 yards.
Then it becomes
It's Jalen
different.
Hurts passing for 300, 350. Then it becomes different. And that's why I said, you deliver a Super Bowl championship and you play lights out. We'll have a different conversation. He'll be remembered differently.
Yeah.
We won't say he's more talented than those guys, but he will be seen and perceived and remembered differently.
That would become
the
like
nature
an
of this
all-time
game,
Yeah, and that would be an all-time historic performance quarterback-wise in that game. To beat that defense and that defense coordinator against that quarterback,
100%. I just have one quick question before we go to break, and I'm glad you mentioned lights out. Can you put us back up on the 3-shot here really quick with Stephen A.? Stephen A., the all three of us, real quick. The suit looks great. The lighting's great. I'm just curious. I'm on a morning show called First Take. The sun hasn't rose where you are. Are you First Take after dark?
Well, you know what? It does look gloomy out here. I don't know how to explain it. They got me in the studio, Molly. I mean, I'm in New Orleans. What you want me to do? At the end of the day, the lights are. At the end of the day, but Molly, at the end of the day, it's me on TV. The lights are always on. Doesn't matter what the background.
Please, I hate
So
when you talk in that voice. It's like, save that for your girlfriend.
It may have worked for a couple females, but
save it for your girlfriend.
Molly and I
it's so cringe for us.
Also, I don't think it's the sun has rose. I think it's probably the sun has risen, right?
I think that's risen.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, you were right, Stephen A.
Grandmama.
Yeah, you were right.
I know I was right. I was right. Yeah.
Coming up.
And Molly got on her late night look. She got.
Thì đây mình đã chuẩn bị những nguyên liệu và dụng cụ như sau này. Ở đây mình có một cây bút màu, một cái thước kẻ, một cái compa, một cái bút chì, kéo và súng bắn keo. Tiếp theo mình sẽ chuẩn bị 2 tờ giấy màu nhé. Mình có một tờ giấy màu xanh cây và một tờ giấy màu xanh dương nhé. Tiếp theo giờ mình sẽ cắt cái tờ giấy màu xanh này nha.